Hi, I'm Melissa Catherine. I'm so happy you're here. In today's video, I want to share with you specific things that I learned 6 months left for this year on my trip to Italy about the power of presence, how to live authentically, and how to be in feminine energy, and how to not only use that feminine energy, but still achieve your goals and up-level your life and up-level your body without sacrifice. So if that sounds good to you, then definitely stay around for today's video because I've got a lot of juicy things coming in for you. So let's start off because there are 8 different things that I want to share with you today about my time in Italy and about this 6 months that we have left in this time period to continue on with our goals. So if you fell off, then this video is going to help you get back on track. And if you notice that some of those original goals, you don't even know what they are, or they're just not feeling juicy for you anymore, then I highly encourage you to throw them out the window. Let's get into things that are a vibrational match for you, that feel exciting and expansive, because girl, you got a lot of time and this is the time to make it happen for you. So first and foremost, let's just dive right into this. Number 1, if you don't know what your goals were, then that's the first place we need to start. Guys, you have to have your goals in front of you. There's actually, and the most recent Harvard study said that those who had their goals in front of them and read them every day were 94% more likely to achieve their goals. 94%. This is not that's not like a small percentage. That's not like maybe 50 or like 60. This is 94%. So it obviously would really be supportive for you to put your goals in front of you and to read them daily. Remember, what you place your focus on, your energy goes and grows. And when you place your focus on your goals, that's where your energy will go. And then what your mind does, your reticular activating system, you know I specialize in reprogramming the mind, combining neuroscience with metaphysics and new age, right? Really bringing you the simplified elements to be able to apply this to your life. But basically the reticular activating system, where you place your focus, your energy goes and grows. When you focus on what you focus on, your mind will expand and gravitate towards. It will become a magnet to bring those things to you. And when you start to bring in not only your desires, but envisioning the end result, seeing the end scene of what you want, that will magnetize it to you more quickly. So first and foremost, let's set some groundwork here. Let's get clear on what are your goals for the end of this year. I highly, highly encourage you that if you didn't have your original 10, bring it down to 5. Focus on them. Those of you that were with me for our 30-day challenge here, you saw less is more. I challenged everybody for that 30 days to pick one goal. And that was one of the things that primarily everyone that did the challenge said that was a game changer. Just having one thing to focus on, it sets you up for success. So if you are somebody that has a tendency, like me, to overload your plate with too many things, what happens is we only incrementally experience small levels of success versus actually achieving the one goal that can be the lever that's going to make all the other ones happen for you. So I can go into levers in another video, but generally, let's use the example. If you wanted to increase revenue, find love, and lose weight, those are 3 pretty big goals, but there's going to be one that's really going to do that for you. So let's just say if you lost weight, most likely you would feel better. You'd put yourself out in dating. You naturally would emanate this energy of feeling good, which is highly attractive, which would bring that in. And as a result of feeling good, taking care of yourself, more likely than not, that momentum begets momentum, which means then you would end up doing more things to support your business and taking care of you, being more structured. So do we see the one goal, focusing on the one, would end up fulfilling all 3, right? Is my microphone still okay? I got excited. Like me. Okay. Thank God that didn't hit my funny bone. Have you guys ever had that where, well, I'm sure you have. Everybody's hit their funny bone at some point, but it's like, yeah, that numbing, that did not happen, although I'm rubbing my elbow like it did. Okay, we're gonna edit that out as a little blooper, or we're gonna keep it in. So that is one. So the next thing that I want to tell you from my time in Italy that I saw that was so powerful was the power of intention. And intentional living is something that I teach inside Limitless Academy. It's something that I teach in everything that I do. And I want to say the power of intention is very real. Again, going back to where you place your focus, your energy goes and grows. But intention is also being intentional in your life and the way that you want to live it and the things that you want to experience. See, I made the declaration a long time ago. I was like 26 years old and I said, I'm going to go to 1 to 2 new countries a year. And as a result, I've been to 28 countries. I have to count them out fully. Might be 28 or 30 at this point. But it's because I was intentional and I made that declaration early. Me having a fit identity and staying fit throughout my life, even with the thyroidectomy and other things and aging, I don't buy into any of those limitations, but it's also because I'm intentional. I'm intentional in how I live. What I saw in Italy was they were intentional. They're intentional with their meals. They're intentional when they're talking to each other. No one is on phones there. No one's like, the Americans were the ones sitting on phones in the middle of the Amalfi Coast. I was sitting there with a friend of mine. We just gotten off the boat and I watched them. We were in essentially like 5-star restaurant on the water in the Amalfi Coast. And this couple was like decked to the nines. And they were American and they were on their phones and I don't even think they really talked. Now, I don't know what their end story was, but that was one of many, that I witnessed in my time. And it was fascinating because the Italians weren't on their phones. They were having dinners. They were interacting, walking the streets in Naples. It didn't matter if I was in a city or if I was on an island or if I was, just in Amalfi. I mean, it was fascinating. And I was like, wow, we are so connected to our phones. And I would sit there and I would take like B-roll when I was going there and I wanted to bring you guys with me on the experience, but I also allowed for my own time quite a bit, a lot of the time. It might not have looked that way, but I really did. And that was a point. So I want to ask you, are you living intentionally? Are you living intentionally? And what that is being intentional and being very clear on what that means for you. So intentional living is, I know that I want to travel to 1 to 2 new countries a year, no matter what has gone on for me financially in my business, in my life. The times that I didn't, and I chose intentionally not to, was with my mom. And when was more in caretaking, and it was because she had dementia and Alzheimer's, and I didn't want to miss time with her. And that was what was more important to me the past so many years. And that was intentional. I made an intentional choice to move close to her, to have that time, to be with her as much as humanly possible, no matter what. I didn't know when she would go, and I'm so grateful I did, right? Because I lost her right before Christmas. So I say that to you because intention is powerful and it makes a big difference. And when you go away on vacation, when you head into a weekend, when you have a night off. I learned this from one of my my earlier coaches in my career, Dan Sullivan of Strategic Coach. He's an amazing man. He's in his 80s now. He was one of the first coaches around. And he shared that him and his wife are intentional even in their off days. And, everyone was kind of like, but don't you just want like a day off? Like, look at all the stuff you do. And he was like, you know what happens when you just give yourself a day off without being intentional? You do nothing. And then you sit there and go, I don't know if I even enjoyed my day off because I was just kind of haphazardly going about the day. I'm not saying not to have downtime, but what I am saying is intention is powerful. And even go into your days off, your weekends, be intentional on how you want to feel. I teach very much having a theme word. I go into every time in Limitless Academy, our membership, I say, guys, what is your intention going into this weekend? What is up with me and my microphone today? I hope this sounds okay. intention is very, very powerful. And so this leads to me to number three. Number three in feminine energy is the power of presence. This is another thing that I saw very much in Italy. The power of presence. People were present. They were present when they ate their food. They were not on their phones. They were not looking off. They were with each other. They were with the meal. They were with the flavors. They were in the atmosphere. And this isn't about being in Italy, guys. It's just in life. How often are you just grabbing food on the go and walking somewhere? I did not see, aside from people eating gelato and walking, you saw, again, Americans more eating like a panini thing, like while they're walking and doing things. I didn't see a lot of Italians just eating and walking with food. I really didn't. Again, I saw more, I'm not talking about small children. I'm talking about like adults. It was more, it was travelers, but Italians themselves, they wait for their meal and they sit down and they give it their attention. And they give the people that are in front of them their undivided attention. There is such a gift when you're talking to somebody and they're actually listening to you and they're with their food. And here's another thing with the power of presence, and especially presence while eating. I didn't see just this fast, like, let's get to the next thing. They take their time with their meals. And yes, they have siesta and this is the way their culture is, but there's no reason why we can't do that. This, in Italy, they're like, what are you guys all in a hurry for? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know, but we're all in a hurry. And as somebody that's like lived in New York for 14 years, I can tell you when I went from New York City to California, a little spiritual surf town, it took like 3 years for me to get the New York, what is wrong with you guys? Like, let's just go. Why are you taking so long ordering coffee? And I'll never forget the very first time I went in a grocery store in San Diego in Encinitas, and it's called Lazy Acres. And I came from New York City and I had my ear pods in, and I was doing what we do in New York. I mean, in New York, no one's, I loved my time in New York, but no one's looking to like really connect with you. Everyone's doing their own thing. You've got people that are singing like they're getting discovered. You've got, even the person at the checkout counter is like, can you just hurry up? Like they're acting like they don't actually work there. These are generalizations, but it's also very true. So I'm in Lazy Acres in San Diego. Ready for this story? It's a little impromptu. And the woman looked at me and she's like, let me know when you're done. And I was like, what? Like totally, I feel like such an a-hole now that I say this, but I was like, huh? And she's like, let me know when you're off your whatever. And how are you? And I was like, oh. And she's like, basically like, I don't work for you. I'm at a grocery store, but I'm a human being standing in front of you. Are you going to keep your AirPods in, listening to music or whatever else, acting like I don't exist and we're not going to have any interaction? And I mean, that's basically like what was said, unsaid. And from that point forward, it always stayed with me. And I saw that again in Italy. People are not speed racing through. They're not grabbing their food and going. They're not at the table disconnected and not even talking to one another or on screens. They were with each other. Small kids, teenagers, adults, elderly, that's what was going on. And so that's something that I'm taking back with me, and I wanted to share it with you, the power of presence. And walking down the street without listening to something. Walking down the street just being with yourself, right? These are huge things. The next that I would love to invite you to is walking after meals. Not only is it great for digestion, but it's a great opportunity to connect with yourself, to connect with source energy, and to connect with your partner, your loved ones, or create a healthy habit within your family. It supports in your digestion. It helps you to sleep. The ladies in here over 40, regulate your hormones, helps with digestion, burn extra calories, moving your body. And it also supports in being out in nature, raising those serotonin levels naturally, and gaining connective time. So if you're single, then create a walking date. That's something that I do with my friends that live all over the globe. When I moved to Florida and left a lot of them in California and COVID and all the things, we started doing walking dates. And that's what I did when COVID started and I was in California. I started doing that anyway with my aunts and my cousins and whatnot, and my best friends from home. But it's something that I've continued on. And it's a great way not only to get in your steps, but to also create connection. And another thing that I really saw not only was doing walks by myself and just being with me, not listening to a podcast. Something happened in Italy where like everything just felt like noise to me. My entire body was just detoxing and letting go. And I don't mean detoxing from alcohol or detoxing from, I just mean it really wanted to just be in the energy of that country. It wanted, and I listened to my soul so deeply. And that's what guided me there to one of the most magical, best trips of my life. And everything felt like noise, like my typical go-tos, even for YouTube or podcasts, or books that I was wanting, that I had, I'm like, oh, I'll listen to this audiobook when I'm going for a hike in the morning. And I just kept getting like, just everything felt noise. And when that happens, it's your soul is saying, just stop. Have you guys had that? I'd love to hear from you. When you just feel like everything feels like noise, that is when our minds are congested. Remember, your mind is set up for survival, and it's a computer program, and you've got 100 million different tabs open. And when that happens, it's like the analogy I just hear, like alert, like it's shutting down. And I gave myself the grace and the space of just walking with myself, letting spirit and talking. And I took my mom on walks with me. That might sound crazy. Those of you that have lost a parent, I don't know. It brings me a lot of peace. I put my AirPods in because nobody knows if I'm talking to somebody or not. And I just talked to my mom because I would have brought her with me. And we're Italian, or she's 100% Italian. I'm 50% Italian, 50% Irish. And I brought her with me, and it was just beautiful. And so I really want to encourage, and I know for myself, that walking after meals, walking in silence, walking in nature is just a part of what I will continue to do. And it's something that I implemented before I had left, and I've been doing for a while, especially my weighted vest, those of you that follow me, but it's different now. It's not to do it like to put on the weighted vest. It's more to do it to be with myself, to be in life, to allow for messages and just kind of listening to nature and being. And for those of you that might be going, Melissa, like I'm so busy, I don't have time for that. Just, you don't have time for 5 or 10 minutes to just decompress, to help yourself sleep, and instead of turning on the TV or scrolling on your phone. It's fascinating how much we say we don't have time. And that was another thing that I saw in Italy. I didn't hear people talking about time. I didn't hear people talking about GLP-1. I didn't hear people talking about AI. They weren't. Those were not the conversations that were being had around me, that I saw kind of even online, that was showing up in my feed when I was there. It was really refreshing to not, and to be in a culture where, those of you, and I'm not putting anybody down for GLP-1s, I just makes me sad that in our country, we thought the answer to an obesity epidemic was a drug that people have to pay for and be on for the rest of their lives without fully knowing the repercussions. I just, I would love if our government spent more time in educating. That's another thing. Not saying, again, to each his own. I'm not putting down GLP-1. I think it has amazing benefits and other things. I can even microdosing, and brain health. And I mean, I can speak into, but that's just something else that I saw there was even, I didn't really see a lot of overweight Italians. I mean, yeah, like you do, you can here and there, but not, and children in particular, and I was on the beaches and I was in remote towns. This wasn't, and then yes, of course I went, I did go to Capri and, Anna Capri and Positano and Sorrento. And it was a lot of, it wasn't just Italians. I was like, but I was also in remote areas where it was, where more Italians would go, just them that Europeans and Americans wouldn't want to be as much because they're not as well known. I love those off the beaten path places, and I didn't see a lot of struggles with weight. I didn't see them shying away from pasta and gelato, and I know the food is different there. I am a nutritionist. I'm very aware of that, but I also believe so much that where we have such a negative connotation around food in our country. And it's such a distorted view around portions, but then making people feel bad for being overweight and idolizing being, 0 pounds. There's so many things that are just so different. And it was really refreshing and beautiful. And so I would just speaking into a healthy mindset. And so far we've talked about the power of slowing down, going on walks, the power of presence, the power of intentional living, movement after meals, which I already said, and then saving your meal times for when you're seated versus being in, grabbing something on the go, and actually being intentional and connecting in with your body and connecting to the people around you. And also talking about not being so consumed with scrolling and phones and listening to things, and noticing when we actually need to just be with ourselves and to hear what's within us. The next thing that I really got around my time away and that I'm bringing with me on this additional 6 months is speaking into existence what I want and how I want to feel and what I'm wanting to experience, and knowing that what I visualize will come, and it will come for you too. So speaking into that for these next 6 months, I would love to invite you to spend your nights 10 minutes before you go to sleep to visualize an end scene. As one of my teachers, Kathleen Cameron, talks about end scenes. Neville Goddard talks about end scenes. And I say that because end scenes is the end of a scene, meaning the end result. In a rom-com when you want everybody to get together, it's not in the middle. You're not doing the this happened. It's the end. It's when they're driving off and they just got married. It's when they had the baby and the happily ever after. It's when the business got started and the millions are there. They're flying away on whatever. And in their private jet. And so the end scene is, what is a scene that you want to experience? What's the end scene to that? And can you spend time in that vision and bring it to life and feel it real? And why I say that is, when you feel it real enough, it has to happen. The mind doesn't know a difference between a dream or reality. And it's actually scientifically proven that we shift on a cellular level, that the memory, we want to make a visualization that we have in our mind so real that it feels like a memory to the body, cellular memory. When we do that, it's now activated in our consciousness, in our energy, in our vibration, in our frequency, which means by law, we have to magnetize it to us. So what does this have to do with me in Italy? And what does this have to do with the next 6 months ending your time strong? Well, I ended up in Italy because I visualized myself in Italy on a boat looking at the Amalfi Coast. Now, in retrospect, I would have brought a man into the vision with me, but I saw my feet and I saw myself in a boat looking up at the Amalfi Coast, and I felt it. I could smell the sea air. I saw myself walking through the streets of Amalfi. I saw lemon trees. I saw the hotel that I stayed in. all of it. And did I have a plan to go to Italy this month? No, no, I didn't. I put it together and like, it was kind of crazy, but I got the intuitive guidance to go. And what do you guys know about me? I trust my intuition implicitly. And it was one of the most magical, epic trips of my life. But I can say I ended up on a boat, and I ended up on a boat in the most magical way. And it was completely unfounded. I got the intuitive message to plan this trip. I had friends that were going in June. I was supposed to go then. Things happened and I didn't. And then it was like, well, and I was like, I don't really need to go. And I got the intuitive guidance to go. And I was like, well, this seems kind of crazy. Like, what am I, like, I don't even know like what friends of mine are there anymore and like what I'm doing. And I guess I'm going, like, this was where I always wanted to go on my honeymoon. Guess I'm going to go there. And the most magical things occurred. So I took myself on the best date of my life. That was a week in Italy. Thank you to me. And it was the best. And I was sitting there and I'm like, well, everything in me was like, I don't actually want to plan all this crazy stuff to do. I don't want to have like an agenda, right? Even though I haven't been to this part of Italy in, a very long time, like 1998. I was like, obviously it was very different then. And I'm like, I still, everything in me was like, just be. And it was like, don't make a plan. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, this is kind of like they're saying it's the height of the season. It's going to be so hot. Like if I want to do a boat trip, like through the Blue Grotto, the Green Grotto, like see Capri, like all of that. And so out of nowhere, I got intuitive guidance to post in the women's solo travel group on Facebook and just ask if anybody had any tips. I haven't posted in that group since like 2017 when I went to Bali, right? Like, I don't know I'm not a Facebook person really necessarily. Like it's not, so I don't spend time online, in that way, like other than like my business stuff and things like it's not, anyway, bottom line. So I end up posting in there and then, I get a message from a woman who tells me that she's going to be there the exact dates as me. And I kind of like didn't really think much about it. And then she's like, did you get my message about the boat? And I'm like, what message about a boat? And so we end up exchanging numbers. I don't really think much about it. And she invites me on a boat that she had fully paid for and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah. And I was just sitting there and I heard, this is why we told you not to book anything. And I know that she and I were supposed to meet. It was a serendipitous, beautiful friendship. And it was such a beautiful it just was a prime example that I want to share with you guys about listening to the intuition, even when it makes no sense, and about the power of visualization, because I ended up on a boat in the Amalfi, laying there, looking at my feet, looking at the Amalfi, looking at Positano and everything. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I've seen this before. And I was like, oh my God, this is the exact vision that I've been seeing when I've been visualizing. I would see myself there. I just didn't really add much to the vision. I didn't add I didn't add myself with my person. So next we will do that. But I want you guys to see the power of visualization and how when we feel it real, as Neville Goddard would say, then it has to actually show up for us. And if I said to you, I've had the Amalfi Coast, on my vision board, but I wasn't planning again. So I say this to you because it works. It's the bottom line. So do it. Do it for these next 6 months. Pick one thing that if it happened for you, you would be like, oh my God, my entire life has changed. And just see what happens when you activate it. And I don't just want you to visualize it as if it's a movie. I want you to see yourself in it as if it's happening to you right now in real time. You are in it. It is done. It is happening right now, here in real time. You are seeing it through your own eyes. That's how you visualize. And then you activate it. You feel it real. What would be happening in your body? What would you be feeling? What would you be thinking if that thing actually happened for you? I was saying this to a client today. I said, if you start your consulting business and you got your 4 clients in and you are on a message with me where you're like, I just made $200,000, like what just happened? Like I'm open for business. I'm like, well, how would that feel? And she's like, oh my God, amazing. I'm like, well, that's a very real possible, like, there's no reason why that can't happen. So bring it to life, feel it real, and see what happens in these next 6 months. The next thing that I wanted to share with you, and our final here, are in our 8 things on what to do to really, really have the most incredible next half of this year and achieve beyond your dreams in your feminine energy, is really truly enjoying the hell out of your life now. Not when you lose the weight, not when you have the money, not when you fall in love, not when you have the child or children, not when the new house is here, not when the likes come in or the million followers or the business. Guys, enjoy your life now. You don't know what the future holds. Enjoy it and live it as if it's your best life, because it is, because it's yours, because it's happening now. Live it now. I just had one of the best trips of my life, and I chose life now, but I could have put it off, because I could have said, and I did, my ego was going, but you want to go here on your honeymoon? What are you, going by yourself? You're going to be there at the time when every honeymooner is going to be here. You got out of a relationship in May. Like, is that really what you want to be doing? But when I thought about being there, everything in me lit up. Everything in me was so excited. And for the first time in a long time since losing my mom, I felt so excited. And I was like, this is how I'm supposed to feel. And I'm not gonna not do this because I'm waiting for my person, or I'm waiting for a man, or I'm waiting for the right time, or I'm waiting for this, or it doesn't make sense. Like, it's never gonna be the right time. Nothing's ever perfect. Nothing's ever perfectly aligned. Even when you line it up perfectly with your launch or your business, or when your kids go here, or you and your husband this, there's always going to be something. Then somebody's going to get sick and something. My bottom line here is live your life now and make it your best life now. You never know what tomorrow brings. And why are you putting off enjoying the hell out of yourself? That is the queen's way. The queen, she's not waiting for life. She's not waiting for somebody to deem her worthy. She's not waiting to be discovered. She's not waiting for somebody to say, you can go now, or now's a good time. She's also not complaining. And she's walking around knowing that she's deserving and worthy. I walked around Italy like the queen that I am. I owned it. I sat with every bite of food and I relished in it. I relished in every bite, and it wasn't because, oh my God, I'm in Italy and I'm eating this and I'm eating that. I relished in every orange slice, everything that I ate, every sip of water, every espresso, any and all things that I had, just listening to the language, listening to the birds, everything. I romanticized everything in my life. And I want you to do the same. For this next 6 months, live your life as if it's the best life. Make a list of the things that you want to do that you've been putting off. And give yourself the grace of doing at least one bigger thing. And then look at, if there's smaller things, start putting them, put a name to them. Go, I'm going to do this one in September, this one in October, this one in November, and this one in December. Intentional living. I'm giving you guys a blueprint for living your most bold, beautiful life, claiming it now. And I want you to romanticize the hell out of everything that you're doing. And what that means is, doesn't mean you have to go to Italy. It doesn't mean you have to go on vacation. What it means is, when you're getting your nails done, sit there and go, I am a queen who's getting my nails done right now. When you go and you book getting your hair done, when you go to the grocery store and you're buying yourself food, just be like, God, I'm so grateful for this delicious food. Maybe I'm going to look up a new recipe, something that excites and inspires me. Maybe I'm going to do something different. But you guys understand that it's you. It all starts with you. Your perceptions creating your reality. Go to Italy in your mind, whatever your version of Italy is, and see yourself there. Bring it to life. So here is the rundown of today. 1, have your goals and have them in front of you. If you don't know what you are, create them now. 2, live with intention. Be intentional in all that you do. Be intentional. My intention is that I live in kindness. My intention is that I max out each day. My intention is that I'm going to romanticize the hell out of myself. My intention is that I'm having a love affair with me. Be intentional. My intention is that from this point forward, I'm going to make a list of all of the places that I want to go and the things that I want to see or who I want to be, right? Intentional living. From this point forward, I dress myself in the finest clothes, that I take pride in my appearance because that's who I'm choosing to be. Intentional living. Next, you're going to sit there, and I really not only want you to be intentional, but I want you to practice presence. Presence with your meal, presence with the people in front of you, not being connected, not being on your phone all the time. The next time you sit down, presence with your food, presence with people, presence with nature, presence with spirit, presence with your children, presence and presence with yourself. You're going to practice walking after meals for digestion, for health, for connection, for divine downloads, right? We're going to be in the energy of visualization and bringing that visualization to life by feeling it real. We're going to feel it real and know that our mind doesn't know the difference between a dream or reality, and that we can shift ourselves cellularly. Feeling it real means it actually feels like it's a memory, that it's real, that it happened. And the more that we do that, we know that we will activate it and magnetize it to us. The next we're going to do is look at our life and look at what we can romanticize and how we can live into the vision now, and what we're putting off tomorrow, and how we can claim it today. How we can make our life and bless our life and speak blessings over the life that we're living now, not sitting there thinking, oh my God, it's not enough, coming from lack energy, that it must change, but instead going, I am living the most decadent, epic, amazing life that I've ever lived, and I'm doing it today, and I have it right now, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so excited for what's to come. And speaking only good things, only putting your attention and energy where you want it to go for you, and knowing that you are deserving, worthy now, because you are, because you're you. I love you guys so much. Let me know if you enjoyed today's video, if you enjoyed the intermittent random storytelling, if you would like more of that, and what you got from today's video. If you made it all the way to the end, please give me a heart and let me know. And if you want affirmations to support you in living your best life and owning this version of you, put affirmations below, and I'll make sure that we send you our free gift for specific affirmations to do, where you can reprogram your mind and truly start to not only heal your relationship with yourself, but fall in love with yourself and experience miracles daily. So definitely put that below, and I would love if you would subscribe to this channel. I have a goal of 100,000 by the end of this year. Please help me make it. We've got a little bit to go here, and I would very much appreciate it so much. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video. All my love, guys.